And first, our honoree that will be coming up to start off the event is Gary Schnurrpusch, MHS class of 1965. Gary has spent 48 years of combined service with the U.S. Navy and with the Defense Department, beginning with the U.S. Navy Officer Candidate School. Please welcome Gary up to the podium. Thank you, sir. I can just at the end.
Okay, thank you. Well, as he says, feel free to move around. If they open up the bar, feel free to get up and keep going. I'm a sailor, so I learned long ago you never stand in the way of a guy going to the bar. So high school executives and guests and classmates and Jim Bertelson, who had the lapse of judgment to nominate me, thank you so much for this very special honor. It is doubly special to be recognized when there are so many more really fantastic candidates in this class, in all of our classes that aren't here tonight. Have you read the highlights? It's incredible. I'm just a dumb old ship driver. But it is good to be home. I am a Mundelein kid. I grew up here. I attended all the public schools, Washington, Lincoln, the new Carl Sandburg, and the new Mundelein High School along the way, where my class of 65 was the first one to spend all 4 years in Mundelein High School. We had no Libertyville loyalties. And I remember when cornfields mostly surrounded MHS. That's how far back I go. I'm the dean of this class, the old man. President Kennedy once said, quote, "Any man who may be asked in this century what he did to make his life worthwhile, I think I can respond with a good deal of pride and satisfaction. I served in the United States Navy," unquote. Well, me too. My Navy service remains my honor and privilege. You'll be surprised that a Navy career was not my plan. I planned to teach high school math. But the 1960s meant Vietnam and having a career Navy Chief Petty Officer father and a Navy civilian mother. Well, there was an expectation to do my turn. So Navy Officer Candidate School followed Illinois State University. And when I was completing my first service obligation on my first ship, Diane and I were having fun, seeing the world, doing something important, and probably making as much salary as I would as a suburban Chicago high school math teacher. So we shipped over, and nearly 30 years later, it was a career. Aha! My chance to get back to teaching. But wait, a regimented military guy? The kids weren't ready for me. Well, I commanded 3 ships. I'll be a principal. I know it's not that easy. But nah, I knew that the faculty and the PTA weren't ready for me either. So Diane and I both launched ourselves into another 20 years of civilian service in the Defense Department in Washington, D.C. Now you know Washington, D.C. That's where your national news is our local news, but we get stuck with all the swamp intrigue. I humbly accept this honor, but not for myself. Rather, for your recognizing that the military is a worthy career, for those who serve, and for those who stand watch now in our dangerous world. There are many reasons to join the military: get away from home, get a job, have some adventure, certainly national spirit, or military parents. For whatever reason, we join and serve. All gave some, but the real heroes gave all. We have 3 in my class. Sadly, we remain at global war against terrorism, but my extra 20 years in the Defense Department after the fleet has led to worrisome perspectives about our dangerous world. Terrorism around the world and on our own street corners is horrible. But make no mistake, even larger threats exist. Russia is on the rise again. China is a pure power. Iran is openly hostile. And North Korea is erratic. Each has great destructive capability. And our military job in all services remains to deter around the globe. But if deterrence fails, we must win, and we must keep the war over there. Unseen by most, even during day-to-day peacetime operations, a Navy ship is a dangerous industrial environment. Working and living 24/7 for weeks or months at sea, on top of thousands of barrels of flammable fuel, alongside hundreds of tons of high explosives, among the most lethal electrical power in the middle of the ocean, water that could fry a sailor in a moment, and surrounded by powerful gas turbines and jet engines that could suck up a sailor in a heartbeat. And this year we saw the tragic collisions, the peacetime collisions of USS Fitzgerald and USS John S. McCain that killed 17 of our sailors. And when stormy weather arrives, sailors must hang on for safety while their ship rocks and rolls and pounds and shudders violently. And that's when ship captains have their most intense dialogues with God. Lord, am I making the right decisions to get my ship through this storm and get back to our mission and get my sailors home safely? The Navy hymn begins, Eternal Father, strong to save. Our young warriors continue to accept those risks and serve for the Navy core values: honor, courage, commitment. All brothers and sisters in arms. It's what our Navy has done for 242 years. For our nation and for each other. Sailors earn the Navy's most cherished title, shipmate. Sailors, soldiers, Marines, airmen, they never fight alone. But to fully appreciate the commitment of Navy duty, we must also recognize those who stand and wait. Navy families on the home front who give us up to the sea, not always knowing when we will return, how we will return, if we will return. And in my career, Diane and our sons, you're the best. Thank you, Mundelein High School, for this award, for honoring military service in this award class. We in the services are mostly invisible now. Only maybe 1% of the population today has direct familiarity with the military. But we happy few, we band of brothers, remain on watch, ready for call to action, men and women warriors, shoulder to shoulder. I thank the high school for this award, and I thank the 1960s faculty and my classmates for giving me a jump start on my life. I hope I did for you too. Clearly, Mundelein High School looks nothing like it did in 1961 when we first opened the doors. But I know Mundelein High School continues to give really important life preparation to all who study there. With a hint of sea spray still in my eyes, and a little bit of navy blue and gold in my veins, know that Mustang scarlet and gray will always color my heart. Thank you.
Nice job. Good picture of